So hello guys and girls, Harry Mackenzie from Visordown, hope you're all doing well. I'm in the beautiful island of Sardinia, literally stunning roads, great scenery, beautiful people and beautiful motorcycles. So I've been riding the CRF1100L, the adventure sport variant, and also today I've been riding the standard one. For now, I'm going to focus on the standard one, but before that, a brief history of the Africa Twin. So the first Africa Twin, the RD3, was a 650 V twin, not actually a parallel like the one you see here. And that was in 1988, I believe, and it was based off the Dakar multiple Dakar winning NXR 750. The actual bike itself was a 650 V twin. So I just flicked through a few pictures of how the Africa Twin has evolved over time, and when it sort of ended its run, if you will, in 2003 with the RD07A.
Then fast forward 12 years and Honda introduced the CRF1100L, and then a few years later, this model you see in front of me, the CRF1100L.
This is the new motorcycle. People are probably going to say, is it just a facelift? No, this is a very, very different motorcycle, new frame, MX inspired swing arm, new completely reworked engine with obviously more power, more torque. To be precise, about 7% more torque. Okay, so the reason for the history lesson is because last year's Africa Twin, the adventure sport variant and the standard variant could be viewed as relatively similar bikes, but there's a lot of differences between the standard model you see in front of me and the adventure sport, which is in a separate review. But for now, what I wanted to say is this standard model, base model I should say, is harkening back to the Dakar sort of style. It's more off-road focused. It's got knobbly Continental tyres on it, booming brand new 1833cc motor, that was such a mouthful. And yeah, we have been mostly riding this off-road, and there are certain things which have just really stood out for me about this bike, particularly the braking system and the 6-axis IMU, 2-channel ABS. It saved me multiple times. We'll chuck in some me trying to save the bike, but to be honest, I don't think it was really down to skill. It's actually down to the advanced technology that's packed into this bike. Standard variant is coming in at 13,049 quid, and yeah, it's obviously a couple grand more expensive, or a few grand more expensive than last year's model, but for good reason. It's a completely new bike, and it definitely feels like a completely different animal compared to the last one. The suspension on this model here you see in front of me is 45mm Showa front and 220mm travel Showa monoshock on the rear. To be honest, there's hardly any dive on the brakes, and certainly off-road it deals with what you throw at it. There's some really, really rough terrain and you think, this bike isn't going to be able to do that. You know, it's 220 kilograms plus, although it is 2.5 kilograms lighter than last year's, coincidentally. But yeah, you just don't think it's going to be able to do what it can do. And I'm just gobsmacked by the handling, to be honest. Now, honestly, on the road, I can't really say what it's like. So this isn't a full review in essence. It's kind of a first impressions, what this bike's like off-road, which is what it's built for. The adventure sport model, I did ride that on the road a lot more, and I can definitely give my 2 cents on how that performs. So the handling in general though, you look where you want to go and the bike will go there. All right, on the rougher gravel and stuff, yeah, you might get a few front wheel slides and whatnot, but it seems to just be able to cope with it, and it doesn't really kick up a fuss. Even when you get a bit loud on the power, bellowing sort of parallel twin motor with a bit more, you know, bit more torque, a bit more power, it does make all the difference. You feel like a bit of a badass on it, which is something that Honda is exactly known for, but have a little go on this and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, I've ridden a manual version and a DCT version. For those that don't know, DCT, you can either have it in a sort of automatic mode, so dual clutch transmission, you can have it in an automatic mode, or you can have it like a PlayStation where you change gear with the toggle switches on the left-hand switch. I opted for the toggle switches just because I feel like it just gave me a bit more control. In all honesty, moving on to the things that I kind of don't like about the DCT variant, this is unique to the DCT variant, is the fact that the gear changes are probably a little bit too soon. So off-road, you'd want it in the manual DCT version, which is where you flick it with your fingers, and on-road, when you're just cruising along, maybe chuck it in automatic, but that's personal preference. But yeah, talking about off-road, there's one thing I do like about the DCT system, can't even speak, how easy it is to get your head round off-road riding because of the ease of gear changes. So with the clutch, you'd have a bit more control, and you know, if you're going into tight spots, you can manage the engine braking and stuff like that and not have to rely on the 6-axis IMU. But what it does is just open up your vision. You're not worried about trying to coordinate 2 other limbs. All you have to worry about is the rear brake and the throttle, and obviously the front brake as well. Always remember the front brake. Not while you're cornering, when you're going in straight line. It is refined on last year's and it is linked to the 6-axis IMU, so there isn't any awkward gear changes like there was on the last model, going around corners and stuff like that. The system is smarter. So in terms of the verdict then, I say it is day 2. I've ridden this bike today and I've ridden that bike yesterday. Who's this bike going to be designed to suit? Well, the beauty of it is Honda have split paths with the way they develop these 2 bikes. So this one here, the Adventure Sport, no doubt is a mile muncher. It's got the bigger 25-litre tank. It's comfortable as anything. It's going to be for someone who's mainly doing road stuff, but doing a bit of gravel and dirt tracking and stuff like that as well. So if you're into that and you've got 17 plus grand for the ES model and the DCT, then maybe that's going to be something you're interested in. This one's more calling my name though. Very light, agile, easy to ride. And to be honest, although I can't really say what it's like on the road, off-road, incredible. Saved my arse many, many a time, trust me. It's coming in at just over 13 grand and obviously a bit more for the DCT version. I'm very impressed, but don't take my word for it, just go for a test ride. Honestly, it's the best thing you can do. In my opinion, 2 cracking bikes. Yeah, there's little pitfalls here and there, as I've explained, but yeah, this is a bit of a banger, to be honest. So just in the interest of time, the differences you can find in the full review. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you see. And yeah, to get more, click the bell as well if you feel like getting alerts. A lot of people don't, but it helps us out a lot. I'm Aaron McKenzie for Visordown. Take it easy. Ciao.